pay attention to disclaimer carefully. People having heart diseases or any kind of serious health problem should not listen to this. This is my personal relative story that I have shared with the team of my Midnight Tales. Don't forget to check your bed before you sleep. Who knows what surprise lies for you under. Welcome to my Midnight Tales, the chilling corner of the internet where darkness comes to life and spine-tingling stories await your eager ears. If you're a fan of the macabre, a seeker of the supernatural, and a lover of all things that go bump in the night, you've found your eerie oasis. But before we embark on this harrowing journey together, be sure to summon your courage and subscribe to this channel. Hit that ominous like button and turn on the notification bell. Let's gather our wits, brace ourselves, and prepare to dive headfirst into the abyss of horror that is my Midnight Tales.
Hey there, folks, it's Alex, and I've got a bone-chilling tale to share with you tonight. One that still sends shivers down my spine when I think about it. This story isn't from a book or a movie. It happened to me not too long ago when I moved into a new neighborhood. So, get comfy, turn off the lights, and prepare for a longer version of the Whispering Shadows. My family and I had just moved into this old house at the end of Elm Street. At first, everything seemed fine, but as the days turned into weeks, strange and unsettling things started happening. It all started innocently enough. One night, I couldn't find my bed sheets. I was certain I'd left them neatly folded on my bed, but they were nowhere to be found. It was odd, but I brushed it off thinking maybe I'd just misplaced them somewhere. But then, things took a turn for the eerie. My mobile phone went missing. I distinctly remembered leaving it on the kitchen table, but when I went to grab it, it was gone. I searched high and low, retracing my steps, but my phone had vanished into thin air. As if that wasn't creepy enough, the whisper started. Late at night, when I was all alone in my room, I'd hear faint whispers coming from the walls. They were soft at first, like hushed conversations from another world. I strained to listen, but I couldn't make out what they were saying. All I knew was that they sounded angry, and it made my skin crawl. One night, as I lay in bed, I felt an eerie presence in the room. It was like someone was standing right beside me, their breath on the back of my neck, but I couldn't move a muscle. I was frozen, trapped in my own body. Panic surged through me as I struggled to break free from whatever held me in its grip. It felt like an eternity before I could finally move again. I decided to do some investigating. Something was seriously wrong, and I needed answers. That's when I found a dusty old diary hidden away in the dark, damp crawl space beneath the house. The diary belonged to a girl named Lily, a previous resident who had experienced the same horrors. Lily had documented her ordeal, how she too had heard the whispers and felt the malevolent presence that seemed to lurk in the corners of the house. Desperate for answers, she had conducted seances in an attempt to communicate with the voices, but it had only made things worse. The final entry in the diary spoke of a malevolent presence that had driven her to madness before she disappeared mysteriously. Mrs. Roberts explained that Elm Street had a hidden history of witchcraft dating back centuries. Our house, it turned out, had once been home to a coven of witches who had performed dark and forbidden rituals. As Mrs. Roberts delved deeper into the history of the house, she discovered that the whispers were the restless spirits of those very witches, still trapped within the house, seeking revenge for their long-forgotten crimes. The eerie presence I had felt was their malevolent energy, growing stronger with each passing night. With Mrs. Roberts' guidance, I prepared to confront the spirits and put an end to the nightmare. We performed a ritual to appease the restless souls, an ordeal that was harrowing to say the least. The shadows in the house seemed to come alive, swirling and shifting, as if the very walls had come to life. The eerie presence in my room had finally vanished, and the whispers that had plagued me for weeks had gone silent. But the story doesn't end there, my friends, because this was just the beginning of a terrifying journey into the unknown. After the ritual with Mrs. Roberts, I thought the worst was behind me. The house felt different, lighter, as if a heavy weight had been lifted, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something lingered, something sinister just beyond my sight. One evening, as I was browsing through old books in our dusty attic, I stumbled upon a peculiar tome bound in worn leather leather. Its pages were filled with strange symbols and incantations, and it seemed to be a spellbook of sorts. I couldn't resist the temptation to delve into its contents, but little did I know the horrors I was about to meet. The more I read, the clearer it became that this book was linked to the witches who had once called our house home. It contained dark rituals and spells, some of which were beyond my comprehension. Foolishly, I decided to attempt one of the simpler spells, hoping to uncover more about the house's haunted history. As I recited the incantation, a sudden gust of wind swept through the attic, extinguishing all the candles I had lit. I felt a chill run down my spine, and I knew I had awoken something malevolent. Shadows danced around me, and I heard whispers that were now more intense and ominous than ever before. Terrified, I rushed to reverse the spell, but it was too late. The attic seemed to come alive with an otherworldly presence. Objects levitated, and the walls pulsed with an eerie energy. I had unleashed a new wave of supernatural activity, and it was more relentless than anything I had experienced before. Desperate for help, I turned to Mrs. Roberts once again. She explained that the spell I had cast had opened a doorway to the spirit world, allowing not only the restless witches, but other malevolent entities to enter our realm. It was a grave mistake, and the only way to rectify it was to find a way to close that door. Mrs. Roberts and I embarked on a quest to find a way to seal the portal and put an end to the escalating supernatural occurrences. We consulted ancient texts, sought the wisdom of paranormal experts, and even ventured into the heart of the forest to gather rare ingredients for a powerful banishment ritual. As we prepared for the ritual, the activity has reached its peak. Objects flew across rooms, eerie apparitions appeared in mirrors, and the whispers grew louder and more sinister. It was as if the spirits were furious that we were trying to banish them once and for all. The night of the ritual was upon us. Mrs. Roberts and I, armed with the knowledge we had gathered, stood before the portal I had unwittingly opened. The air was thick with tension, and the house seemed to hold its breath. We chanted incantations, burned sacred herbs, and sprinkled salt around the portal. The room vibrated with energy, and we could feel the malevolent entities resisting our efforts. It was a battle between the living and the dead, a struggle for control of our home. Weeks turned into months, and the supernatural activity ceased entirely. My family and I could finally breathe a sigh of relief. We had not only survived the haunting of our new home, but had also put an end to the malevolent forces that had tormented us. So, that, my friends, is the extended tale of the Whispering Shadows, a story of curiosity and consequences, of a young boy who unknowingly opened a doorway to the supernatural world and had to summon every ounce of courage to set things right. It's a reminder that some secrets are best left undisturbed, and that the line between the living and the dead is thinner than we can ever imagine.